Hi guys, sometimes I think the Tory MP Jonathan Gullis is either lying to the public or lying to himself. It can be difficult to know which he's engaging in. The disastrous results for the Tories at the latest two by-elections mean the party will need to sit down and have a think about what went wrong and what needs to change in order for them to save their skins. But it seems the opposite is happening. They're in complete denial. First, they're trying to suggest that the by-election isn't all that important. Then they're saying that it is due to legacy issues and doesn't reflect the current feeling. And finally, that turnout is low, so Tory voters are staying at home, but that will change come the general. Gullis here wants the party to outflank the headbangers at Reform UK, it seems. However, this will be gold to Labour. Have a listen.
Look, does Rishi have to go if you've got any chance of winning the next election?
The Prime Minister has my absolute full support. He should lead us into the next general election. I still believe he can firmly win, because when you look at the flip-flop that stands opposite him across the dispatch box, Keir Starmer, who can't keep to a single promise to his own members, let alone, God forbid, to the country, I think we have a Prime Minister that has a very clear 5 priorities that he's working hard to deliver on, and use confidence to outline further that he is the candidate willing to take the brave and bold decisions that need to be made in order to bring the country forward. So, Patrick, Rishi's got my back. I've got Rishi's back 100%.
Okay, but that isn't a reason why the Labour Party are seeing a massive swing in their direction. You can't say, well, nobody can really trust Keir Starmer. His members don't trust him, and the public shouldn't trust him. But the public are trusting him. Within the confines of the by-elections, they are. So, and the polling points in the direction of greater trust in Keir Starmer than in Rishi Sunak. Like, you're denying reality by saying that, well, the public don't believe him.
Okay, do you not think that there is a chance that maybe he needs to do more conservative things? I mean, I was looking at some of the swings last night. It is absolutely staggering. And people are voting instead for reform, which wants to do things like turn the boats back.
Well, look, I think you're absolutely right to look at what the results show. First of all, the turnout in Tamworth, where I spent a lot of time, was around 35%. That means nearly 2/3 of all voters who could vote chose to sit at home. So that's a telling tale in itself. There's a lot of apathy, a lot of people feeling that at the moment in time they're sitting out, maybe waiting for a general election. You are correct in saying that Reform picking up votes, and if you actually add Reform, For Britain and UKIP together, that's around 9% of the vote. So clearly the Prime Minister's pledge to stop the boats is an important one, particularly in places in the Midlands and the North, and it needs to be delivered upon, which is why, as we go through the court case with Rwanda, I hope we'll see flights soon by the end of the year. But it also means we need to be frank and tackle legal migration as well, Patrick, as you and I have discussed. Legal migration cannot be in the 600,000s. That's absolutely unacceptable. It can't even be in the 200,000s. The tens of thousands, or even the net zero migration potentially, is something that we should be aiming for as a political party, taking on.
But he's not going to do it, though, is he? This is the. I get you. I'm getting these emails in right now in front of me. Keith says, I've just filled in a survey the Conservative Party have sent to me. Basically, I've said that they're pushing away loyal supporters. They need to move away from con-socialist policies. There's another one here. I'm a lifelong Conservative voter, but after Rishi's terrible time as Prime Minister, I will be voting Reform at the next general election. Somebody else here, literally the one below, if he decided to turn the boats back, he would win a majority. I mean, you know all of this stuff to be true, right? You know this is true. And unfortunately, you don't have a leader who thinks it. Therefore, what's the point of backing him, really?
Well, Patrick, he did bring forward the Illegal Migration Act, which is a very robust piece of legislation, and he has set the groundwork to be able to ignore and deter and defer away from ECHR rulings that that I think we should immediately withdraw from the ECHR regardless of what happens with Rwanda. I'm a member of the New Conservatives that fully believe that there was a political realignment that took place after the Brexit referendum in 2016, ably led by Danny Kruger and Miriam Case. And we have released a number of policy papers, things like scrapping IR35, raising the tax threshold, the VAT registration threshold from £85,000 to £250,000. Things that we should be doing rather than, as some of my colleagues have already talked about, potentially raising benefits in line with inflation, which I don't think is the best use of taxpayers' money.
Okay, so you don't want the general public to vote for you. Now, notice that the host here was talking about Reform UK and how he was receiving emails. Now, whether this is true or not, I don't know. But yes, Reform UK picked up a lot of support in the by-election. and it undermined the Tories a great deal. And it seems some people in the Conservative Party, maybe Jonathan Gullis, believes we need to double down on immigration. But the general public, the vast majority of voters, don't care about this. They care about cost of living. And within this clip, Jonathan Gullis is saying, well, we need to focus more on cutting taxes for the richest in society and not spend more money on benefits. So what we want to do is we want to reward people who have loads of money, and we want to punish people who have almost nothing. And that's going to be a winning strategy. Really? You think that's going to help people? Who comes out and votes the most is ordinary people, not the richest people in society. There's also fewer of them about. So pandering to them isn't going to really help you win votes. They may help you win donations to the party, but that's not going to help Jonathan Gullis in his seat. I think maybe Jonathan has thrown in the towel at this stage. He understands, look, I'm not going to win my seat. He's probably looking at the polling. I don't think he's that dumb. He's quite borderline, but I don't think he's that dumb. So he realizes, look, I'm just going through the motions. Maintain the rhetoric. Don't give up. Pretend not to give up. And hopefully I'll get some sort of job with some think tank or maybe on GB News or something later on. But this doubling down and attempting to chase Reform UK is going to destroy the Conservatives, because the vast majority of people are concerned about the NHS, cost of living, schools, policing, things like this. This is what they're concerned about. They're not concerned with immigration. They're not concerned with culture wars. They're not concerned with the main issues that Reform UK are focusing on. And if the Conservatives chase and try to outflank Reform UK, move to the right, they're going to vacate the centre, and Labour will move in there, and they'll pick up lots of support, as we're seeing at the moment. Also, people are not happy with the Conservatives. That's why they're getting a bit of a bloody nose in these by-elections. But come the general, unless Rishi Sunak can turn things around, unless there's some dramatic situation, Rishi Sunak might even lose his seat. So what can the Conservatives do? Well, they need to move back to the centre. But they don't seem to be interested in doing that. They want to move further to the right. They're afraid of Reform UK. And they think, well, maybe if we move further to the right, we can deal with this threat. But of course, they will leave space open for the Labour Party to move into the centre, and they're going to lose a lot of seats. I don't know who their strategists are, or if they have any at all. If Jonathan Gullis is the strategist, then I think they're in serious trouble. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.